Manever I say ma PENDREAM TV. PENDREAM TV there, I see them yopo.
Hamza.
You see, it is exciting and interesting listening to Paul on the issue of Galamsey. And I was taken aback with his attempted justification of the Yamin issue, pulling in the Frimpong report. First of all, like you indicated, it was a newspaper publication that sought to create the impression that the national organizer of the National Democratic Congress and that of our vice chairman, Abanga, were engaged in activities that they considered untoward and derailing of the president's fight against illegal mining. Being a listening government, the Attorney General decided to act on that intel and referred the matter to another state institution to investigate. That is being proactive. That is responsibility. But you had a situation where a former minister responsible for environment presented a report in which he indicted even the president's most powerful uncle, a cousin, and no investigation was conducted. So the two are not the same. That tells you the commitment of this government when it comes to the fight against illegal mining and our readiness not to entertain any politically exposed person associated with the government or the party in matters of Galamsey. That decision should let you know that there's a difference in any case. You see, I listened to, my brother also referenced the Jaundice submissions of a very good friend of mine, Miracles Aboagye, on the origin of Galamsey. And I think I monitored that engagement with them on Good Evening Ghana. And I was hugely disappointed by the lack of industry and research. Because what I know is that media men, you are supposed to hold us accountable. You do not just create a platform for us to come and free flow without any check. A simple check would have told you that the menace of Galamsey, as we have it today, did not start under President John Evans Atta Mills like they sought to create the impression on that platform, and like he's done, and he has referenced on the same platform. Indeed, the issue of Galamsey became topical, and our water bodies started getting polluted after 2003. When His Excellency President John Ajekum Kufuor was president under an MPP government.
Just a second. What I thought I heard Paul say, that the fight against Galamsey started from Samuel's system. I'm
talking about the fight. The first time government, Professor Mills was the first president to begin and address Galamsey as a national issue.
That's what I heard him say.
The water bodies, the mining, you see the mining, Galamsey has been with us for 50 years. The mining in water bodies began around 2009, and the documentary is there. The evidence was provided.
So that is why Professor Mills was speaking. You see the mischief, and I monitored the program. So if you are patient, you understand.
That program.
The water body, that 2009, that is being disingenuous to the literature.
Right.
And I'm going to demonstrate why.
Please do.
This is before me, the document, the World Bank report, Project Performance Assessment Report. Ghana Natural Resource and Environmental Governance, first development policy operation. That is by the World Bank. And this is what it said. Mora, are you listening?
Listening.
The bank had been previously engaged in the natural resource sector through investment projects. And this was World Bank report of 2003. I mean, it's in 2009, 2003. It says, the bank had been previously engaged in the natural resource sector through investment projects, notably the 1998 to 2003 Natural Resource Management Project. Slow and uneven progress on policy reform did not translate into sustainable management practices because of overlapping responsibilities, distorted incentive structures, lack of transparency, poor governance, and the declining importance of non-productive environmental concerns to government. Following this, the bank had largely withdrawn from the natural resource sectors in Ghana. That was after 2003. That is a World Bank report. Again, go and read the Chirage report of 2008. on environmental protection and the effects of mining, where in that report, then President Kufuor was president, NPP was in power, where in that same report, Shiraj, a state institution, made references to River Ankobra, Birim, and I think the third one, I've forgotten the name of this one, about the polluted nature of these water bodies.
Is that Pra?
I think Pra.
Okay.
These are documents that you can easily verify, even with a simple Google search. And so that's why when I watched that Good Evening Ghana program, I was hugely disappointed in the kind of production that went into it. Because I know that I won't come and sit here and you allow me to rant without holding me to account or justify any reference I make to any assertions of illegal mining. So that is the fact. Indeed, when it comes to how bad the situation had become, it was under the President Kufuor era. So where he's right is that yes, after 2009, especially when President Mills became president, he decided to confront the matter head on. Right. And that is why by 2016, at the time President Hama was leaving office, you saw the drone picture of the River Ankobra. That was posted by one of our celebrated drone pilots, Adam Srem.
Yeah.
You saw how clear the River Ankobra had become by 2016. And what it became in about 3-4 months under His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. Moro, these are the facts. And so when we make references to these interventions that we did to alleviate the situation based on what we inherited from the NPP President Kufuor era, we were justified to be appalled and angry by the havoc that was being caused to our water bodies under Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, another NPP regime. Because we are as usually creating the platform for our international partners to begin to withdraw from these sectors. That is what the literature says. Again, in 2008, 2016, when we were in the campaign, remember what? In Obuasi, this was what President Akufo-Addo said. He said, I was here in Obuasi to say that Galamsey, which I prefer to call small-scale mining, will be regularized to ensure that the youth all find work to do. Shortly afterwards, Mahama also came here to tell you that I was lying and that an Akufo-Addo government would rather sack everyone involved in Galamsey. That was the time President Mahama was mooting this idea of cooperatives to ensure responsible mining among small-scale miners. And this is what Akufo-Addo said. When he won the election, he rather directed soldiers to come and drive out all persons involved in Galamsey in Obuasi. That is Akufo-Addo referring to President Mahama. So President Mahama's record, as far as the fight against Galamsey was concerned, clearly, even His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo appreciated that effort. But what did we see upon assumption of office? Indeed, it was the media coalition of this country that decided to take Akufo-Addo to task on the issue of Galamsey, because the government had decided to be complicit and were justified for saying so. Remember that even when they banned small-scale mining for about a year or so, there were concerns of them using that so-called ban as a ruse to grab concessions for party functionaries and party associates to work. Was that not the case? We were not saying it. It was the media that was churning out many of these things. And did it stop the issue of Galamsey? Absolutely not, because they knew what they were doing. They wanted to capture the entire process. More so, these are the issues. And when people were talking about it, it was not just the NDC that was complaining about government's commitment to the fight against illegal mining. It was not the NDC. And true, yes, some of our associates or members of the National Democratic Congress agreed. And even just to put this on a lighter note, you remember somewhere in 2018, the then minister responsible for local government, Haji Ali Mahama, had calls to meet DCs and raise the issue that they had picked intel that many of them were engaged in illegal mining. Remember in 2018? Yeah. And indicated that they were keeping a tail on them and that if they don't stop their involvement in those activities, they would be dealt with. Less than 2 years, or about 2 years after that admonition, the president released a reshuffled list of district chief executives, sacked district chief executives. And one of them was the Amansi South DC, who openly defended the issue of Galamsey in his district. And coincidentally, that same day he was sacked was the same day in August 2020 that my own brother, Dennis Miracles Aboagye, was sacked. So one can be forgiven to conclude that the earlier warning that Madam Alima Mahama gave about DCs involved in Galamsey probably influenced the decision to reassign these people because of how close they were to the issue of Galamsey. And I find unacceptable this strenuous effort by Paul and his MPP associates to create the impression that, oh, it looks like all politicians are the same. They said this and look, now you see there's no difference between the MPP and the NDC. Really? We are talking about a regime that your Kumasi mayor was engaged in mining in a forest reserve. Indeed, we are talking about a regime that made it legal through president's intervention, the presidential intervention, for you to be able to mine in forest reserves.
Kumasi mayor?
Yes, sometimes.
Oh, okay, sometimes.
At the time.
Okay.
They are national, they are Ashanti regional chairman. And a host of them were suspected to be engaged in illegal mining activities. And indeed, the minister responsible for lands and natural resources at the time, Honorable Aboagye, had cause to issue a letter about the activities of Wuntumi and Akonto mining. His Excellency President Nana proceeded to clear him of these allegations publicly. And so these were the conduct that made the Ghanaian people lose confidence, because they could point to about 1, 2, 3 political appointees who were not deep. There was video evidence of those tasked with the responsibility of dealing with illegal mining actually receiving bribes to make way for concessions. Yeah. So it was within that frame that the Ghanaian people lost confidence in the regime. And true. Honestly, let us be honest.
Right.
Many of us said that, look, there's a need for the government to act, and the government failed to act. We have one power. The responsibility is now on the National Democratic Congress government and His Excellency John Dramani Mahama to be able to confront the menace. And more, upon assumption of office, His Excellency moved swiftly into action. We started with a stakeholder engagement in terms of an engagement with our chiefs and communities that are closer to these illegal mining sites. We have brought on board a number of policy interventions that ticks all the boxes when it comes to the UN guidelines on sustainability. Because we are engaged in a war of getting them out, illegal miners out of our forests. We have discovered communities, full-blown communities, that for 8 years the MPP failed to discover, that were engaged in illegal mining. The NIMOS is on the ground, as I speak with you today, discovering illegal mining communities and destroying same. We have seized a number of excavators. His Excellency President Mahama has proceeded to produce a special licensing regime for imported excavators into the country and a tracking system so that we are able to track the operations of the owners of these excavators. That is progressive. Again, we launched the ARCOMSDEP intended to ensure that we put small-scale miners into cooperatives and tie them to the district assemblies so that some amounts of money can be paid to the district assemblies to support the government's reclamation efforts when it comes to the degraded lands, and also help the people to be engaged in responsible mining. So we are ticking all the boxes, but I can understand the frustration of the Ghanaian people. They need quicker results. They need quick action because of what they were subject to in the last 8 years. So their demands are justified. But the appeal I would like to make is that we have a 4-year mandate. More. This is what we have been able to do in a matter of 9 months in terms of our steps towards dealing with the issue of Galamsey. Possibly after a year, we would review government interventions in that field. If we are convinced, like His Excellency President Mahama says, we are not ruling out the possibility of declaring a state of emergency. Absolutely not. If after taking stock of the interventions that we have been able to bring about, as far as that sector is concerned, and we feel strongly that there's a need for us to still continue to declare a state of emergency, be rest assured that the NDC government will not run away from that responsibility. But this attempt of strenuously trying to create the politics of equalization and create an impression as though the MPP and NDC are all the same will not be entertained. Our efforts can be verified. Our interventions are working on the ground. The results, yes, quite slow, but I can assure you that in a matter of a year, if we take stock and we are not excited about the pace, nothing would prevent His Excellency John Dramani Mahama and the NDC government from declaring.
Paul, I'll bring you.
It's very important.
I'll bring you.
Okay,
Paul, I'll bring you. But whilst at it, yesterday we're told the NIMOS team were somewhere in Chibi and they were fully in action. Let's watch this video.
So yeah, they are. Then I'll move this out. I'm going to shut down. I'll move this out. Why?
Yeah, so this is an event that happened yesterday. There's a development somewhere in the Aboagye South, municipal area. That's Chibi, more specifically. And I'm told that this was led by the chief executive, the MCE for the area. I'm talking about Adoikins Jr. He led the NIMOS team to drive away the illegal miners who were involved in Galamsey in Chibi. So it looks like NIMOS is in action. It's in full action, if I may speak. But Paul, in all of this, NDC did this, MPP did the NDC. I hope we are fully aware that the turbidity levels of our water has only gotten worse. In fact, just recently, Ghana Water Company is saying that they want more money from us to be able to treat the water. They've stopped using alum. They're now using what they call the polyelectrolyte something, which is almost 100 times what it will cost us to treat the water. That's the thing. The turbidity levels are getting worse.
That is why a lot of the things that boss lawyer said will not change anything. Emmanuel Amakofi-Boa this morning is reporting that illegal mining is no longer a partisan matter. No longer a partisan matter, but a shared responsibility, according to the Minister for Lands and Natural Resources. The NDC in the opposition gave a clear prescription about how this can be solved. They said issue a state of emergency.
No, the NDC never said that.
Well, let me finish. You can.
That's not accurate.
Fair enough. The people are watching.
No, but Paul, is important.
Okay, I believe that the NDC said
no.
Actors of the NDC declare a state of emergency. Sam Okudzeto Ablakwa said it. Haruna Idrisu said it. Sam George said it. Amakofi-Boa, who is minister today, said it. If all these people said it, but this video, what are you talking about? You haven't seen it. You haven't seen that video.
Seen those videos.
Ablakwa said it in this studio. We have been showing it on Good Evening Ghana every time. The video is here. Call your people, they'll show it to you. What are you talking about? You haven't seen the video of Ablakwa. Joy FM plays it all the time. Ablakwa said it here in Good Morning Ghana studio. Declare a state of emergency. Idrisu Haruna on Joy FM. Declare a state of emergency. Amakofi-Boa, he was interviewed in his home, in his constituency. Declare a state of emergency. If all of these ministers, Minister for Foreign Affairs now, Minister for Education, Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, if all of these people have said that declare state of emergency is the prescription to end Galamsey, and we are being told that NDC didn't say it, fair enough. NDC didn't say it, Idrisu Haruna said it, Ablakwa said it, Lands Minister said it, they said it, but the NDC as a corporate body did not say it. If that's the point the NDC is making, fair enough. Now, you say that your ministers tell us that declare state of emergency. Who has the power to do so? The president. Sam George said the president can solve this in 1 week. By doing what? Declaring a state of emergency. And that's true. If any president were to declare a state of emergency, nobody goes there. So that's true. That will solve the problem. There's no question about that. That is true. And if you say these things and you come to government and say that, well, we are in government, as you just said, that the turbidity of the water is getting worse under your government, worse than when you said we should declare a state of emergency. At a certain turbidity level, you said declare a state of emergency. Turbidity level becomes worse. You now have the power. And you tell us that you don't want to declare a state of emergency, and we should listen to all this beautiful English being spoken by a lawyer, that we have done this, we have done you and this and that. All that is okay. It's a political question. The acting Chief Justice told the bar conference this week that the Galamsey has become worse under President Hama. Felix Kwatso-Fosu, the government communication minister, says he needs evidence of that. He needs evidence of the fact that the situation has become worse. He said nobody has provided the evidence. He doesn't have the evidence. Kolebu Teaching Hospital is reporting things. He doesn't have the evidence. The turbidity of the water from Ghana Water Company, he doesn't have the evidence. These are the matters that is making the politics unbelievable. So this is the situation confronting the NDC. It is true that the state of emergency could stop Galamsey. It is true. The NDC were right in opposition, and those saying today are also right. Now this is the situation. NDC was in opposition, says that the thing is at 20%. You need to declare state of emergency, Mr. President. NDC comes to office at 60% and they say, oh no, a state of emergency, it will come later. That's okay. It's a political question. The NDC have the power and they have a mandate of almost 60%. So what they do with their mandate is entirely up to them. My concern is that young people should not lose interest in politics and politicians and should not think that it is politics by the day. Boss lawyer said that it is an equalization. NPP is trying to say that. No, you can say all that. The acting Chief Justice is not a member of the NPP. He spoke at the bar conference. At the bar conference, they are talking law and legal matters and governance. Did he need to talk about Galamsey? He didn't need to. But he found the occasion to talk about Galamsey and specifically said that it has become worse. If it has become worse, and the NDC's prescription of what to do with it when it was not as bad was a state of emergency, but now that it has become worse under the NDC control, that the state of emergency is no longer necessary, it's all good. It's a political question. I leave it there. My concern is that
Justice
people...
say that it has become worse.
It was quoted. I don't have the video.
Oh, at the back conference.
No, but he didn't say
widely quoted.
It was all
He
over the
didn't say it
newspapers.
was worse.
Oh, he said more things. No, he said it has become...
people.
No, he said it has become worse. It is by greedy people who are connected to power.
Yes, he said those.
Yes. He said it has become worse.
Unless, of course,
you see,
quoted, because
There was a speech read for him.
Paul belongs to a political party where they preach reverence for data, especially the Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. You cannot sit on this important platform and run on the assumption that the fight had become worse.
The Chief
Without
Justice said
any
so.
data. But what data?
I don't know
You
what
are
data he
alleging
used.
that that's what he said.
Oh,
And
it has
I'm
been
telling you that-
published.
But this is a government that is telling you that prior to coming into office, about 43 forest reserves were under siege by illegal mining activities. We have been able to retrieve 9.
Ghana Water
That
says the
is
turbidity
success.
of the water is
So
worse.
that is one aspect
Ghana Water
of it.
says
I'll get
so.
there. I'll get there. Please, if you are patient, I'll get there. Yeah. Now, we have shown you evidence of tribes and communities that for 8 years you and your government failed to discover. This passion you have demonstrated this morning for 8 years on your show. You could have been very useful to the Republic of Ghana and the new Patriotic Party government if you had demonstrated this passion and power. As far as
No, we
this
are called
issue is
for
concerned.
a state of emergency.
Please.
We are called for, no, you are impugning our integrity. So I'm putting on
When you were
record
talking
that we
about
have, but
and
you
I'll
can't impugn
demonstrate
integrity.
why. I'll
We
demonstrate
had
why.
on Good
I'll
Evening Ghana,
demonstrate why.
on Good Evening Ghana, we are called for a state of
I'm
emergency
talking about
many
your
passion.
times. I'm talking
What
about
is
your-
passion?
I didn't
I
see
have
this
a platform.
I
and-
monitor your platform consistently.
But we had done it.
Even
Then
when
you
it
didn't
was
see it.
difficult for many NDC people to continue to monitor because of your activities on that platform, I made it a point to religiously.
Then you missed it because we
You
did.
see, and I can tell you
We
that the
certainly
passion
did.
you have shown today, I'm pretty much convinced that if Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo HE had seen this passion coming from many of you, he would have acted on the situation. So I am giving you evidence of what we have done, communities that we have discovered in that fight you were unable to discover, the role of the blue water gas and what it has led to in terms of discovery of illegal mining sites, the policies in place intended to track even excavators that are used to pollute these waters. And I consider that we may not have been able...
You know we have 200,000 excavators now.
Yes, I do.
The highest ever. Ghana is importing excavators more than anybody else.
But
where did that come from?
Exactly because of the activities of Galamsey. It started under a regime. Many of these
excavators that come in this year.
But that is the point I'm about.
But you are in charge of the port this year, lawyer. You are in charge of the port.
But that is why we have brought in a policy
to take the excavators to the military to keep it.
We are keeping it, and we are.
That's what the transport minister said.
Because we are looking for a space. Because of the licensing regime that we have introduced.
Who brought the excavators? Can you publish the names of the people who brought it? Can you publish it?
You see that this is an information you can easily have access to. Go to the Ghana Airports Company Limited. What's the name? Ghana Shippers
Authority?
Ports. Ghana Ports and Harbors Authority. Okay. These are pieces of information that you can.
Chairman, by the way.
Oh, but what is wrong with that?
No, nothing wrong.
Absolutely.
I'm just putting it.
I'm just telling that you can have access to that information. If government was engaged in releasing the excavators to those who imported it haphazardly, then you would have had an issue.
All right.
But many of these containers even came in before this NDC administration took office.
Okay.
But Moro, you see, let us resist
we have to wrap up.
This false narrative that the situation has become worse. Like I indicated, the Catholic Bishops' Conference, they have every right to demand that we step up our efforts when it comes to the fight against illegal mining, because they have been consistent. Same with Utah, even under Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, these bodies demanded that something be done in that regard.
All right.
And we will not disrespect and disregard their concerns. I can assure you that even after the press engagement, His Excellency President Mahama would probably be listening to these concerns. And if in the not too distant future, we feel that we have gotten to a stage where we need to declare a state of emergency, be rest assured that this government will do so. But we will resist this temptation to create an impression as though it has become worse under this government. It is not supported by any data. And that was why the minister responsible for information demanded that if we are shown evidence, then we can engage in a meaningful debate. But until that is done, these are just attempts by the MPP.
Let me bring in our viewers who are watching us on both on YouTube and also on Facebook. So I've noticed something about the MP. So this one's Amaria 1. Amaria. Hey. I've noticed something about the MEP. They always have different interpretations of our law when it comes to when it goes against them and when it favors them. That's Amaria 1. And Daniel Opintan, who's watching us on YouTube, says, how can a security coordinator be sacked for drunkenness in a company and wants to come back as security guard in the same company? Hey, Daniel. Anyway, Kasim Abu Sadiq says, why is everyone in the studio today bald? Oh, of all the things that's happening here, that's what you've seen. Kasim, why? Anyway, that's from Kasim. Anyway, that's his contribution to the conversation. Now, let me just do this too. I beg you. Now, this was Assalamu alaikum. The fact that the Catholic Bishop Conference and other CSOs have been degagged and can freely talk on anything about the governance issues of this country means that this government is tolerant, that's what she read, and more accommodating. How can a president who's tenure in office witness a seizure of 8 of our forest reserves do better than one who reclaimed them and is still fighting the menace fiercely and relentlessly? I can't, for my life of me, fathom what this brouhaha is about. The only leeway to get at this government for now is this Galamsey matter. But the picture being painted isn't as bleak and gloomy as it is. Ears on the ground and government is acting decisively. Juma Mubarak and good morning to you, Sally. And it continues to say that as we also say that the turbidity levels of our water bodies may be due to the heavy rains and siltation into our rivers and streams. Remember, we're in the peak of the rainy season. Even in the northern region, it rains rampantly. Just thinking aloud. Alaji Highland, I've heard your concerns and would work on that. Thank you so very much. And Mansa Musa is back. The last one. More, I don't know how much time you have, but kindly tell my NDC that the debates are good. But the bottom line is that the situation better than we met it? If not, then honestly, the talking won't help. Thank you from Mansa Musa. Thank you very much, Paul Adomochi, for joining us this morning.
PENDREAM TV now, so far so good. Say open online portal Ghana. Nipa share, nipa follow, nipa comment here. To my best of knowledge, without any biases, PENDREAM TV.